Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's Mifos Ask Me Anything session for the 2017 Google Code-In program. In terms of format, we're going to start with a brief introductory presentation on Mifos, and then we're going to open the floor to any questions that you might have. And our students can submit questions via the chat here in GoToTraining. Once we finish the intro presentation, you can come off mute and speak to your questions via your microphone. And then lastly, if you post any questions in our Gitter channel with the tag AMA, we'll tend to those questions as well. And so after I do this brief introductory presentation, I'll put all of our mentors off of mute and allow them to briefly introduce themselves, and then we'll handle all your questions. So thank you once again, everybody. So my name is Ed Cable. I'm currently the President CEO of the Mifos Initiative, and I'm going to talk a little bit about our organization today and how you can fight poverty with financial inclusion through Google Code-In and Mifos. First off, I'm going to talk a little bit about who we are and what we do, and then why it really matters, and then how you can get involved. So Mifos is an award-winning nonprofit dedicated to ending poverty one line of code at a time. We've been in existence since 2006, when we started out as a project at the Green Foundation, and then we've evolved to become our own separate nonprofit initiative focused on technology for financial inclusion. You might be wondering what financial inclusion is, and basically, financial inclusion has evolved from microfinance, which was pioneered by Dr. Muhammad Yunus of Grameen Bank, to allow for the widespread access to affordable, responsible financial services for the poor to lift themselves out of poverty. And we provide technology solutions to help make the efficiency and delivery and effectiveness of these services better. So this is just a brief rundown of what we do. And this is a nice image from one of our customers in one of the microfinance borrower groups, with the loan officer attending the meeting, attending to the clients, providing them information about their loans and collecting their repayments. But essentially, we're a nonprofit that leverages the cloud, mobile, and open source community to transform the delivery of digital financial services to the world's 2 billion poor and unbanked. And we do this primarily through the current generation of our software, which we call Mifos X, which is powered by Apache Fineract, which is the backend core banking platform that the Mifos Initiative recently donated to the Apache Software Foundation. So Mifos X is a complete core banking system that a brick-and-mortar financial institution, like a microfinance institution, uses to run their back offices. It provides everything that's needed to create a database of clients, create a portfolio of loan or savings of products, manage all these transactions, generate all the necessary financial, operational, and social reports to ensure that the organization is meeting its mission to its clients, its donors, and performing effectively. So on this screen, you can see some screenshots of our Mifos X web app, as well as our staff-facing mobile app. And as I go into more of the presentation later on, I'll talk a bit more about the technology stack that you'll have a chance to work on. This is just a brief showing of how much traction and adoption we have worldwide. So in the 10 years we've been around in existence, and through 3 generations of software marketplace, we now have more than 300 financial institutions supported by more than 120 different partners around the world who are using our technology to provide better access to financial services. More than 7 million clients around the world are reached through these customers, and they're using our Generation 1 solution, which was focused on just being an MIS for microfinance. Generation 2, Mifos X, which is what you'll primarily be working on, which is an API-driven core banking platform for financial inclusion. And the next generation of our software, which is coming out to market now, is an application framework for digital financial services, and hopefully you might have the chance to work on some tasks related to that as well. In terms of who you're going to work with, many of our mentors are former Google Summer of Code interns and mentors from past years, and also some of our mentors are even former GCI students themselves. So you'll have a chance to work with a diverse community of technology partners, volunteers from our community, as well as users and financial institutions from our community who will be able to assist you in learning more about our mission and taking on tasks that will help introduce you to open source. This is just a picture from a conference a couple years back in Sharjah and helps to show the diversity of our community who spans the globe and is eager to help you in both learning more about our mission of technology-enabled financial inclusion, as well as educating you on contributing to open source. So as you're working with the Mifos Initiative through Google Coding, you'll get a chance to work on a number of exciting and different projects across many different disciplines. As I noted earlier, on the code front, primarily going to be working on our Generation 2 stack, which is referred to as Mifos X and Apache Fineract. And so the stack consists of the backend platform, which is primarily based in Java with RESTful APIs. And then the primary way that the staff of the financial institutions that use our software is through our Mifos X web app. And this is a single-page web application that's built on top of Angularjs. So we have a number of tickets related to modifying the Mifos X web, or what we used to call our community app. And then we also have a suite of customer-facing applications as well as mobile applications for both staff and consumers that have been worked on the past several years by our Google Summer of Code interns. So we have an Angular online banking app, which allows clients to directly interact with their accounts. And then we recently are shipping a mobile banking app called Mifos Mobile. So it's an Android application for clients to interact with their accounts and submit transfers, repay loans, make deposits to savings. We also have a mobile wallet framework, which will allow clients to transfer money, pay merchants, interact with the digital financial services channels in their country. And then lastly, we have a mobile field operations app, which is Android-based, which allows staff to go out into the field and perform all the operations that they need to do their day-to-day business. So we have a wide variety of applications on leading cutting-edge technologies that'll be really relevant for you, especially in both educating yourself on open source, but also learning more about fintech. And so many of our mentors who are on the call today will be helping guide you through these tasks. And then on the documentation front, we have a wide number of tasks as well to help improve both user as well as technical facing documentation for our community. So these two screenshots just show our user manual on the right-hand side for one of our mobile apps, and then some recent projects that Sanyam, our previous Google Summer of Code intern, worked on for documenting the Apache Fineract APIs via Swagger. So we have a wide range of documentation tasks will consist of actually writing documentation, cleaning up documentation, putting in screenshots, creating video tutorials, and also creating sets of training slides. And documentation is incredibly valuable, especially for our community, which is often sometimes low tech and needs good guidance to make sure they can effectively adopt the software. And then around the design and user experience categories of tasks, we're looking to bring on students who can help in mocking up and creating wireframes and creating designs for not only our technology and applications that our customers are using themselves, but also for different areas of our community infrastructure to help our community collaborate better. So these are just a couple of examples of wireframes that students worked on last year. One was mocking up a donation page, and the other was mocking up a homepage for our mobile banking app. So you'll have the chance to work on creating wireframes, creating designs for graphics and materials, and then also, actually implementing some of these designs beyond just wireframes and mockups. And once again, given our user base is pretty low tech, design and user experience is critical to them, and you have a unique opportunity to work on mobile as well as web design and how that applies to open source. And then the next bucket of tasks we have center around outreach and research. And so since I'm not a developer myself, these are the primary types of tasks I'll be helping to mentor. And we do have a wide range of tasks here. Some of them consist of market research, which centers around doing research on fintech, financial inclusion, as well as other software companies competing with us in the technology for financial inclusion and core banking space. It also centers around doing a lot of work to improve our community management and to help with outreach in the community. So some of this might be helping to update and maintain our website, writing blog posts, researching what events are happening, helping us build out libraries of images we can use in our collateral. And then we'll also, ask you to help write some own content related to your personal experiences that we'll do here. And we also have a number of tasks related to design and creativity where you can create logos or graphics to help the community. So we'll continue to put up more tasks related to outreach and research, but this is also vital for us, both as an open source project as well as a nonprofit, to help increase communication and awareness of our initiative and make everybody across our community feel like they belong and are an integral part of our mission. We also have a number of tasks related to quality assurance. So here are a couple screenshots just of some of the tasks in our GitHub issue as well as our Apache Fineract issue tracker. So we use both of these issue trackers to track issues. So GitHub issues is used to track any issues or feature requests related to our web and mobile apps. And then Jira is used to track issues related to the Apache Fineract platform. But on the QA front, we have a wide number of tasks that will allow you to both interact with the code and get more experienced in quality assurance. So you'll be able to do, manual regression testing and usability testing, where you'll go through the application and try and identify bugs that you can report, or you can offer suggestions on how to improve the navigation, workflows, and user experience. You'll also be able to work out creating automated tests for applications and learn how to write strong feature requests, write strong bug reports. So quality assurance is a lifeblood of any open source project. And so while fixing and reporting bugs might not sound that appealing, it's very important. And we look forward to having you work on a number of these quality assurance tasks for our project. And so we like to also refer to our mission, apart from creating technology for financial inclusion, to be ending poverty one line of code at a time. So we're eager to have you work with us through Google Code and have this unique opportunity to not only learn about open source, but also give back to our incredible social mission of helping to bring financial services to the more than 2 billion unbanked and 4 billion underbanked worldwide. And so this is just a nice shot from the grand prize trip in San Francisco last year. We have a couple of our grand prize winners, Sawan and Durov, there, and we also have one of our finalists, Justin, who was a winner for Wikimedia, and then Rajan, who was our mentor, and then I was able to come down and visit as well and attend one of the events for the grand prize trip. And so we're going to go into the AMA session now. But I want to do that first off by just unmuting our mentors and allowing them to introduce themselves. And then I think we just have a few students who are on the call, so we'll let them ask whatever questions that they might have. So for the mentors, I'll let you, take yourself off mute, and then you can briefly introduce yourself. And this will be a great way to introduce yourself to other students who aren't attending the call right now, so they can know who you are in case they're interacting with you through our other channels throughout Google Code. So I think first up we've got Dilpreet. So if you want to briefly introduce yourself and your role in the Mifos Initiative and what types of tasks you'll be mentoring. And then other volunteers, other mentors down the list can do the same. So. Oh, and Dilpreet, I think you're still on mute. And if you're not getting this message, Gopala, I'll let you introduce yourself, and then we'll continue down. So.
Hello everyone, am I audible?
Yeah, we can hear you, Gopala.
Okay, so hello everyone, I'm Gopal. and I'm from India. I'm currently studying second year engineering in Amrita University. I'll be mentoring to tasks related to the community app, and I was also a GSOC intern last year. This year, I mean. Thank you.
Thanks, Gopal. And then Mohit, you want to introduce yourself?
Hello everyone. I am Mohit Bajoria. I am from India. I'll be mentoring through community app task and I was also a GSOC intern for the Mifos last year and the last year.
Thank you, Mohit. And yeah, Mohit's also been helping to do administration duties for the organization as well. So he's been really out there a lot and helping to communicate with all the students. So you've probably interacted with him already. So then Naman, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah. Hi everyone. I'm Naman from Delhi. I was a GSOC intern this summer and worked on the mobile wallet framework app. I will be mentoring the tasks related to Android and all three apps.
Thanks, Naman. And then Ronak.
Hello everyone. Hello, my name is Ronak. I am from India. I'll be mentoring all the tasks related to the web, the community app, and online banking apps. I was a GSOC intern this year as well.
Thank you, Ronak. And then Sanyam.
Hello everyone, I'm Sayam and I'm from New Delhi, India. I'm currently mentoring in the Swagger task and on the code platform task, and I did my GSOC this year.
Thanks, Sanyam. And Tarun.
Hello everyone, I'm Tarun Murgia and I'm one of the mentors for Android-related tasks. And just like everyone else, I was also one of the GSOC intern this year with Mifos. And yeah, I've been associated with Mifos for almost 1.5 years now. So yeah.
Thank you, Tarun. And then Dilpreet, are you still on? Okay, yeah, there. You can introduce yourself.
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yep. So, hello everyone. My name is Dilpreet. I'm from India, and I have interned in GSOC this year for the mobile banking app, and I'll be helping out students for the GCR task in Android related stuff. Yeah.
Okay, and then Abhilash, I'll let you introduce yourself too.
Hello everyone, I'm Abhilash. I'm from India. Um, I will be mentoring for the Android Field Officer app, which happens to be the Android client for the Mifos platform. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Abhilash, and sorry I missed you on the first round of
It's all right.
Okay, and then yeah, I do want to open the floor to any questions from students, and I realize we don't have too many students on the call right now. We had about a couple dozen people register, but I guess they weren't able to attend. So we'll get through whatever questions we have right now. But then I do want to, give our mentors the opportunity just to take the floor and share any information that they'd like to share. So since we have, so many of you on the call right now, and we are going to share the recording of this later on, we'd like to get as much content in here as much as possible. So if mentors, have questions they think are relevant and want to, post them, other mentors can reply as well. But we'll let both Siva and Yibin ask any questions that they have right now, and this can be done through the chat, or you could come off mute and verbalize them yourself.
Hey guys, this is Yibin. I just had a quick question about what steps I had to take to work on a coding issue on the community app. Like, I kind of want to make sure that I don't really mess up any code or anything like that when I'm working on an issue.
Yeah, thanks, Yibin. And then I'll let one of our web app mentors, we've got several on the call today, tackle that one. So Gopal, Mohit, or Ronak, I'll let you talk Yibin through that.
Okay, hi Eben. I'll take this one. Yeah. So basically, what you need to do is you need to create a fork of the community app from GitHub. So whatever changes that you make over there for a particular task, so you can be rest assured that you won't mess up the code of the production code. But yeah, you do need to create a fork from the main repository, and then you can pick up any open issue on GitHub and then work on it. And then you just need to send a pull request. So if you need any help, like how to send a pull request or what is a pull request, you can look it up or ask any of the mentors here. Like any one of us can help you with that. But once you create a fork, you can be rest assured you can do whatever you want with the code base. You can play around with it.
Okay, so what do you guys usually use to edit the code? Like, I'm guessing you guys don't edit straight on GitHub, or do you?
Okay, so like once you fork the repository, what you need to do is like you'll get a clone URL. So once you get that URL, you just need to open up your terminal and you need to write git clone and the URL of your fork. So that pulls down the code base to your local machine, right? So you can use any of your IDEs you want, or it can be Sublime Text, VS Code, whatever you prefer. And then you jump into the code, you edit it, and then you just you can even use, there are like visual UIs for sending GitHub commits. Like you can use them if you're not comfortable right now with the terminal. So you can use something like a GitHub desktop client or Git GUI. So you can easily create commits from there and then send a pull request from GitHub itself.
Okay. So I'm reading the and thank you for your answer. And I was reading the community app README, and I was wondering, like, I'm not really well versed in what Grunt does or like Node.js. Like, could you just like give a quick rundown of that too?
Okay, so I'll give you a quick rundown what the is it. It's on Angularjs. Okay, so what we use is like Angularjs is a front-end framework. So you write all your code in JavaScript, but we have some build systems in place that make the deploying part or having the development server running easier. So we use Grunt for that. So what you need to do is like you can go to Node.js website and install the build Node.js on your local machine. If you're using Mac or Windows, there are installation instructions for both. Then once you're done with Node.js on the terminal, then you can go ahead and just write npm install grunt. So that would install Grunt on your local machine as well. And then you can just follow the README on GitHub. So you just need these two stuff to pretty much get up and running. And then you can just follow the README along and write the commands there.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks for taking that question, Ronak. And then I think for our other mentors too, if you had any suggestions on what your best text editors or development environments are, please feel free to come off mute and speak to those now. And I think this might also be a good chance for our mobile developers to speak to this as well. So how they utilize Android Studio or whatever they're using, and the steps you take to get your development environment up and running for one of our mobile apps. So.
Okay, so can I start?
Sure, go right ahead, Rajan.
Okay, like anybody is going to contribute in Android projects in Mifos, like this will be beneficial for them. So in Android projects, like we already like self-service and Android Client 2.0 is already ported with the latest Android Studio, the 3.0. So if you will download Android Studio 3.0 and above, like you don't have to do anything else. Like just download a SDK with them when you are setting up the Android Studio, and after that, like just clone the project and we just import that project in Android Studio and everything. Like if there is any library or any just support library is missing from your SDK, it will bring you a like pop-up message, something like you can just click and install. So everything that will be needed for this setup, Android Studio will do. And regarding the issues, like we have less issues. Like I just came today from my like from trip, so I'll be like opening a lots of issues in Mifos and self-service app and Android client app and Android client 2.0 too. So if you think like if you have any issue regarding the building the project, and when you will go in a wiki page, just click on the wiki section in the any project, like in self-service or Android client 2 or 2.0, and just like follow the instructions. I am pretty sure like you will not get any type of error. And if you think like if you get any type of error, just open an issue and mention what you are getting, or like just take a screenshot of like what's wrong with the Android Studio, like what's the error is showing, and just paste there screenshot and open the issue and mention me, Dilpreet, and Tarun will give you the instant answer like within a couple of minutes. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Rajan, for sharing that information for development environments for some of our mobile apps. And then on the web app front, was there any other advice we wanted to give just on, best practices or guidelines or for the code and the quality of code we're trying to write? I'm not sure, Mohit, if you might like to speak to that. Or...
Hello everyone. So actually we also have one more web app code base is of self-service web app. I think Ronak will be more providing some information on the self-service web app. So Ronak, can you please share some information on web app self-service?
Yeah, sure, Mohit. Okay, so we do have another web client-facing app, that is the online banking app. It's available on GitHub under the web self-service app. So it's pretty much the same for setting it up and working on it. Both are based on the same Angularjs. So if you can work on the community app, it's pretty much easy to take up tasks on the web self-service app as well. Also, it's pretty much same. Instead of like you just don't need to worry about like you just need to install Node. Like we have pretty much tutorials on the wiki for the community app. So once you've installed Node, you can pretty much follow wiki of any of the projects and you can set it up locally, and then you can start working on issues. Like we have opened quite a few issues, we'll update it on the dashboard as well, and then you can send in PRs for the web self-service app as well. You can ping me for any of the projects if you have any questions about setting it up or how to like contribute or send in PRs or anything related to contributing to it.
Okay. And then in terms of for either of the mobile or the web apps, getting access to test data or connecting to a demo server that might have test data, can you all speak to how a student could do that? Dilpreet, did you maybe want to cover that for the mobile app front? Like how students can either run against a version of the platform running locally and data they have there, or pointing the app to one of our demo instances and using that as a test data set for their changes?
Yeah, sure. So basically, in the mobile banking app, that is the self-service app, we have implemented a unit test, and for that unit test, what we have done is we have not using any demo server or any online data. What we have done, we have fetched the complete JSON response and saved it in a file, and then we are using that JSON data in order to test whether we are getting it right, whether the responses that we should get, that is the response correct or not. And we have done this in that way that it is present in the application only, but it will not be in the APK, which will be the release one, so that we can prevent any increase in app size. And for testing, we will be starting with the instrumentation testing part, and for that also we will be focusing on how can, like we will be making it server independent, so that even if the server is not on, or is there a issue, like we can test it offline, completely offline, with the same JSON data that we are having in the form of JSON. I'll show the for you can go to mobile menu, the mobile banking app, and check all the unit test cases. Actually, there's a student named Chirag, so he has started with unit testing, and he was able to able to build up a unit test. So if a student wants to, like, start with unit testing, he'll face some problem initially only, as the unit testing pattern is same. So once he's able to understand that how unit testing is done, then he'll be able to do unit testing easily.
Okay, thank you, Dilpreet. And then one of our web app mentors, do you want to speak to how you can test against one of our demo servers, or if you want to actually get the platform up and running locally, testing and visualizing your code changes against that?
Hello. So in the community app, there are two ways that you can install it. Either you can install the complete Mifos X platform, or if you don't need the platform, if you are just going to do the changes in the front end, then you don't really need to install the Mifos X. You can directly you can just directly follow the community app README. Whenever the community app by default, it connects to the demo server. So it is an online API. So from there, you have a lot of sample data is there. So if you're just working on the front end of the community app, not really interested in working on the platform side code, then you don't really need to use don't need to completely install the platform. And yeah, even if you are interested to work on the Fineract platform, then there is a wiki available. I'll just post the link later on.
Okay, thank you for those clarifications, Gopal. And then Sanyam, because you've worked a lot on the Fineract platform, the backend, do you want to speak a bit about interacting with that code and any questions that might surface around that?
Yeah, sure, right. So if you want to contribute to the platform side, then you can simply fork our Apache Fineract repository on the GitHub, and simply you have to, like, download the repo and install it in any IDE. Like, you can use Eclipse or IntelliJ IDEA for contributing to the platform side. And I'm like, if you want to contribute to the Swagger task or any of the contribution task, then you simply have to create a new branch and to create a pull request on our GitHub repository.
Okay, and are there any other additional dependencies for the platform that need to be installed, or are those all part of the build tasks, Sanyam?
Yeah, there will be, like, I will be posting a link that will show, like, if you are using Windows OS or Ubuntu or any other OS, it will help you to installing our Fineract platform at locally, and to check it out, you can easily contribute that.
Okay, thank you, Sanyam. yeah, and then for others, like I just do want to, for those who are looking to get involved with some of the coding tasks, I recommend you take up as one of our beginner tasks, the ones that center around just making your first pull request and introducing yourself as a contributor. I think we've got those in place now for the web and mobile apps, and that's a good way to both, get your build environment up and running, interact with GitHub a bit, and then also, get a small beginner task out of the way as well. And then from there, you can definitely start to take on the tickets and tasks related to actually making changes to the apps themselves. And just before, we go to any other questions, I'll make some clarifications about Mifos X and Apache Fineract, as you all might be confused, with the names floating out there, as well as the different repositories that are there. So about a year and a half ago, we were invited to become a project of the Apache Software Foundation. And as I noted earlier, we donated the backend platform code, which we used to call Mifos X, to Apache, and that is now referred to as Apache Fineract. And so we maintain a distribution and a product on top of Apache Fineract that is an out-of-the-box solution for financial institutions to use, which we call Mifos X. And so that includes the Apache Fineract platform, our Mifos X web app, and then we include Pentaho as well for reporting and business intelligence. So every Mifos X distribution will consume the latest Apache Fineract release. So you might see some deprecated repositories related to Mifos X, and you can ignore those, and then you'll see a clone or a mirror of the Apache Fineract repository in our GitHub account. But any pull requests you'd be making to the platform would be done directly to the Apache Fineract repository, and then Mifos X is basically a product on top of the platform we provide as open source to our user base, as the platforms typically consumed directly, by partners who might have their own front end or they might have another solution. And then the Mifos X web app is for those institutions that are looking for an out-of-the-box solution with a complete UI and reporting that they can use and deploy. And then Siva, did you have any questions you might have? I didn't want to put you on the spot, but since you're one of our couple students on, wanted to see if there are specific areas you wanted to learn more about. So. And you're still on mute, Siva. So while you're coming off mute, Rajan, if you're still there. I thought you disappeared for a moment. Did you want to speak to a little bit about the GitHub repo you've opened up that has mockups and designs, as we're going to be putting up some tasks around that, and it'd be good to speak to that now. So.
Yeah, sure. So everybody who love designing, so we started this year. I started this year a mockup repo, so in which we are putting every type of mockups, because why we started, let me tell you first. Whenever GSOC happens every year, and every developer just try to build a functionality as fast as he can, but somehow some of the things we have to follow, so the development would be very fast and efficient. So that's why we added a new repo, so in which we will first design mockups of the project. Suppose we are adding any new functionality, doesn't matter in a community app or in a product. So if you have any idea in your mind, you can make a mock-up. It doesn't matter, you can make a mock-up on a from a pencil, on a paper, or you can make a mock-up from a sketch. I'm building the project on sketch that is supported from. You can just do that in a Mac. So initially, you can submit any type of mockup, and it can be handmade, or it can be from other sources. just if you have any mock-up ready, just make it and open an issue and add that screenshot of the mock-up in the issue, and we will talk about it. And initially we don't have any issue for that, so like we are building, I'll open that issues. But if you like wanted to add any mock-up, like if you like you this you will, when you will go in the repo, and you will find like there's a lots of mock-ups missing, so you can easily like just make the mock-up for that and open an issue and add the screenshot of that mock-up that you made. It doesn't matter it's from the pencil on a paper, or it's from the another software, or it's from Sketch. And I'll definitely love to review that and give you feedback, and like we'll make the changes accordingly. So you are welcome for this repo, and the repo name is github.com/openmf/Mifos mockups.
Okay, thanks, Rajan, for creating that, and having that repository in place will be, especially valuable for future programs of Google Summer of Code, but it's also really relevant and valuable for the transition, we as a community are making to our next generation architecture. So I only, alluded to this a little bit in the introductory presentation, but, as the needs of the financial inclusion sector, as well as the technologies available to us continue to evolve, we likewise evolve the architecture and design of our underlying platforms and technologies. So as I stated earlier, in 2006, the first generation of Mifos that we launched was, a completely different code base that we rewrote from scratch when we launched Mifos X in 2011. So that first generation code base, it was, really difficult to contribute to, and that's why we wrote Mifos X in 2011, which has, served us well over the past 5 years and is continuing to serve our community well. But as, our community looks to embrace a digital transformation and adopt more digital financial services, we need greater scalability as well as greater modularity. And that's why, over the past 2 years, we've been designing and implementing a brand new cloud native architecture that's microservices based. So that's going to be our Generation 3 architecture, which is coming out throughout the course of this year and the next. And so once again, we've completely rewritten the code base from scratch, and this new architecture will soon be adopted by the broader community, and we need to transition our community and user base over to the new architecture. And so the web and mobile apps that we have currently in place on Generation 2, we need to, rewrite or port these over to the new architecture. So having in place the mockups and user stories and all the design that's gone into our current suite of apps will be valuable to carry that over, so we don't have to reinvent the wheel by redesigning these applications that will be leveraging the new architecture going forward. So thanks, Rajan, for sharing more information on the mockups there.
Yeah, sure.
And then Mohit, did you want to speak at all to the additional question that Yibin had?
Yeah. Hi, Ibn. Yeah, you don't have to just like open index.html. When you do grunt serve, then it will take care of all your changes and it will reflect in your browser. You just, if you find any problem building the community app, just ask me through Gitter channel or or you can email me also. I will help you throughout building the community app.
Thanks, Mohit. Yeah, and just for a little more, background on some of the other tasks. So as Rajan was saying, around the design and mockups and UI tasks, you can sketch stuff out on a pen and paper or pencil and paper if you'd like. If you have access to an app like Sketch, a lot of our developers and designers for mobile apps use that. And then if you do need a wireframing and a mockup tool, we can set you up with an account on Balsamiq, and they provide a nice, WYSIWYG editor to create and share mockups. So those are some helpful tools that you have in place there. And then for some of the QA related tasks, I can have Santosh share more information, what needs to be done around some of the script-based and automated testing tasks we have there. But in terms of, utilizing our issue trackers on GitHub issues or Jira, let us know if you have any questions there. But for either of them, it's pretty self-explanatory. You just need to create your accounts first, and then you can utilize the interfaces there to create the respective issues or feature requests that you're looking to do. And then we are going to post some additional usability testing tasks, and we'll post a link to a usability testing guide that one of our volunteers created. And these will be valuable tasks for you to familiarize yourself with our applications, but it'll also be really nice to get feedback from users who are looking at the app for the first time, to give feedback on how we can continue to improve the design and also catch any bugs that might be caught and have missed in the past. And so with, especially with the Mifos X web app, this is used often by a number of users as a production system, but it's also, used as the starting point for a lot of our partners. So that's why every feature or workflow might not be as refined as it could be, but it's a great way for us to get this feedback, but also continue to get students who can work on actual tasks related to addressing some of the usability challenges that might be found as well. Do any of our other mentors have additional points they might like to add? Like, while others, might come up with something they want to talk about, like I'll speak a little bit to some more of the, outreach tasks. And so I know some of our students who might be not on the call right now, but listening in later, for those tasks related to graphic design or, creating imagery or work like that, we encourage you to be creative and put a lot of effort into those, and not just, put a logo on a design and say that's your design. And then for those students who are doing tasks related to research, I ask you to continue doing as you're doing in identifying good research, but put more effort into synthesizing and coming up with some of the key takeaways for that research itself. And then for students looking at other tasks, we are going to post some more tasks related to our WordPress site, related to Salesforce, and related to cleaning up some of our contact databases, doing research into our competitors, doing research into our donors. So the outreach tasks that you're working on help in a number of ways. They help to increase communication and collaboration within and across our community. The research tasks, help us to identify like what those trends are in the fintech and financial inclusion space that we need to be keeping aware of. It also helps us stay abreast of who are the other organizations providing software to the sector and how we can continue to compete with them and try to, offer a unique value proposition relative to them. We also, are also trying to do research related to donors and other supporters who can help to support the mission of our open source community and nonprofit. And then just in general, trying to identify ways to better recognize individuals across the community and improve interactions and collaborations amongst our partners, users, and volunteers. So we've got about 5 minutes left, so we can wrap up early if we need to. But if there are any, closing questions or any other closing points our mentors would like to share. Oh, and I did forget, Naman, before we, wrap up, in case there are students that are going to be looking to do some of the tasks related to the mobile wallet framework that you built out, I'll let you speak to that a little bit, because I think we covered, the Fineract platform, we covered the mobile field officer and banking apps, and we covered the web app and online banking app. So I'll let you speak a little bit to the mobile wallet. So.
Yeah, sure. So my exams are going on, so I wasn't able to contribute to the community in the past few weeks, but I'll be creating, so my exams will be finishing on 5th, and I'll be creating a lot of tasks related to the mobile wallet app after that. So I think all the three, so the mobile wallet framework basically allows us to use the Mifos platform in country specific ways. So like if we can in India context also, when you look at the mobile wallet repository, you can see that there are three different modules in Android Studio when you open it. So one is a core framework, library framework that you can also contribute on that directly interacts with the FinRec backend. And then on top of that, we have a Pixie collect name app that is specific to India. So basically it's a merchant payments app in India. So basically you can think of like as a direct implementation of the Mifos platform that all the end users can use. So all the three modules are currently in there can be a lot of development that can be done there. So there's a lot of issues also there. So I'll be just picking up all those issues and I'll be clearing them quickly just after my exams finish on it.
Okay, thanks, Naman, for that information, and looking forward to having those issues accessible for Google Code soon. Yeah, and just to speak to a bit more about that mobile wallet framework, like it'll be, although we don't have too many tasks up around that right now, this is a really exciting project to work on because the mobile wallet framework really represents a lot of the future of financial inclusion and where more of the services are going. So as we've spoken to earlier, most of our current customer base, they are brick and mortar financial institutions where the staff go to the clients or the clients come to the branch of the institution. But as the ubiquity of mobile phones grows and the processing power of the cloud grows as well, more and more financial services are going to be purely digital and purely through the phone. And by providing this mobile wallet framework, we provide a good starting point for partners or institutions in any country to try and build out a client-facing app for clients in that country to interact with digital channels there. So this represents a good foray into that, and will be exciting to work on, especially as you hear about everything that's happening in fintech across the world. So I think we're almost to the end of the hour. I know we didn't have as many students come on as we'd like to ask their questions, but I think there was a good amount of interest in it, and so I think the ones that we had registered and having this recorded and being able to circulate this will be valuable. So I really want to thank, first off, all of our mentors for coming on and sharing their experiences and sharing information about the different repositories. And then I want to thank the students who came on and the questions they asked. We'll make sure that we incorporate, the fact that you attended this and participated as we look at your overall body of work throughout the course of Google Code. And we look forward to, working with many more students throughout the remaining 5 weeks or so of the program. And don't hesitate, as you all have been already doing, to ask any questions you might have through Gitter or on our community mailing list or whatever communication channels you may find us. So thank you again, everybody, for attending this. And we're going to try and have some more documentation and more webinars online for you to better interact with the project as well. So farewell, everyone. Thank you, and have a good rest of the weekend. It's almost to its end for most of everybody on the call, I think. So, bye-bye.
Yeah.
Thank
Bye.
you. Thank you.